Here's a 1985 FJ60 with 82,000 original miles. This truck's pretty special to me because I actually found it for my friend who was in the market at the time, and because of work conflicts, I couldn't actually make a deal work. So he was able to fly out, inspect the truck, work out a deal, and then drive it back to Dallas. So it's special because upon inspection, I had never seen such a nicely preserved truck where everything on the truck was just absolutely clean. If you take a look at the firewall, and if you take a look at the brackets and the bolts, the truck just kind of speaks for itself. Some of the lines that go through the firewall into the engine, from like gas lines and brake lines, are immaculate. The air cleaner is all original. It hasn't been powder coated. It still has the original sticker. The carburetor was rebuilt, but all the hoses that are leading to it are actually all OEM, and they're all old, and that's how well it was preserved. Some of the bolts and brackets and some of these smog components are also 35 years old, and they didn't get treated, they didn't get plated. This is exactly how the truck was when it was found. The only thing done at the engine bay was painted the side of the fenders, and then painted the back top of the firewall. But aside from that, everything is just the way it came. I did include new bumpers just for cosmetic reasons. There was, a few dents and a few imperfections, and I think that that bumpers go a long way in my opinion. So I always try to source them. But take a look at the carpet here. This carpet is immaculate. The carpet is original. It's 35 years old. You're gonna have a few imperfections, but I mean, a 35-year-old carpet is better, in my opinion, than replacing with a brand new one if it's in this type of shape. The door panels are all also in fantastic condition. I didn't treat anything. I didn't paint anything. I didn't restore anything. This is exactly how the truck was, and how it's been preserved for 35 years. So if you take a look at the cloth, the only thing I did on it is just give it a little bit of a cleaning. I cleaned it a little bit. This seat is starting to, you'll see it in a little bit, but the seat on the driver's side is starting to kind of wear out. But I am including a piece of cloth to replace that when the time comes, if it ever tears and the new owner wants to do that. He can take it to any upholstery shop, and for probably less than $200, they can replace that for him or her, and they would have that new seat. So that's been taken care of. It's all been really well thought of. The carpet at the back was just amazing. There's three pieces of carpet, so it's the front, and then the middle where the back seat is, and then there's the rear cargo area. And all of the carpet is original. You can see the cloth. That's all original. It was only cleaned, but nothing was replaced. I even left the Land Cruiser emblems at the back because they were just in fantastic condition. If you take a look at the rear cargo area and the brackets, those things are the way pretty much the truck's at as well. Nothing was plated. If you take a look at the tailgate carpet, that's all original. That's the way it came from the factory. All of this stuff is just original panels. Nothing aside from a cleaning, nothing was pretty much done to this truck. It's the way it was from factory. And then the most impressive part for me is also the brackets and the hinges and things like that, the supports. These were only cleaned. They weren't treated. They weren't plated. This is how they've been preserved in this truck for 35 years. And another important feature, not feature, but something that I really like about this truck is all the factory welds and how visible those are. All across the truck, you'll see that in the door panels and the frames and things like that. The struts on this truck are actually all new as well. My friend was able to source them, and I think he paid about $250 since they were the last ones available. As you can see, this truck is just immaculate. And when I had the chance to buy it for my friend, because he felt like he was better served by a 4Runner, he wanted to drive it more, and it wasn't, it wasn't a truck that had high mileage that he could just continue to add mileage to. The truck was kind of special, and he felt like, you know what, I don't necessarily want to continue adding mileage on this, low mileage vehicle. I'm probably better served with something else. So when the opportunity came for me to purchase it, I did immediately, because I wanted to get my hands on it and I wanted to do it justice. So for me, that meant, taking on a huge project, because it was a huge sacrifice. We actually took the truck all the way down to metal. We sanded everything. We took it down to every single part to metal, and then what we did is disassemble the whole truck, took all the windows out, took all the panels apart, took the doors and treated everything individually, and then I went with an epoxy primer that's supposed to be one of the best primers just for metal. It's kind of like a pre-primer, and then I built it up with another primer, which that primer is also a PPG product that's fantastic. And then you had the code for the paint, which was 147 OEM code. And then at the end, I kind of brought it to life by adding that 2021 clear to protect the color, and then to make sure that the truck continues to look this way for the next 40, 50 years, depending on what kind of use it gets. But it will absolutely last, because that was my biggest concern was, okay, well, let's protect the truck, let's paint it, let's make it look fantastic, but let's protect it. And for me, that was the combination of materials that I used. And as you can see here, everything on the truck was pretty much taken apart. We did the seam sealer everywhere on the fenders, on the roof. We inspected every single portion of this truck to make sure that everything was addressed that needed to be addressed. And luckily, it was a New Mexico and Arizona truck, so it didn't really have any issues aside from just power washing the frame. And that's kind of what went on to this truck, and pretty much got it back and assembled everything and put everything together. And that's pretty much a story on this truck. And it's special because you're not going to see a truck that has the mileage and has had everything addressed. Mechanically, my friend rebuilt the carburetor, had it rebuilt. They also did the intake manifold. They took it out, they milled it, and then they did a new gasket. And then some of the seals were also replaced at the bottom. When I took it over, I heard a slight noise. The truck ran fantastic. I mean, this guy drove it from Tucson all the way to Dallas with no issues. But when I took it over, I heard a little bit of a noise. And because we were doing such an extensive restoration, I had my mechanic take a look at it, and he said, you know what, everything is good, but I think the throwout bearing might need to be replaced eventually. And I said, you know what, let's just do it. Let's do the throwout bearing. Let's get it. Let's drop the transmission. Let's service it. Just do whatever needs to be done. Let's not worry about the money, because this truck needs to be at a certain standard just because of what it is. So you might call it unnecessary. It doesn't really matter to me. I take unnecessary steps all the time, but I feel like they're important. And if I hear something, if I notice something, I'm gonna address it. I'm not gonna leave it. And that's kind of the way I approach my trucks. I treat them as investment grade vehicles. I also noticed when the truck was on the lift that the knuckles were leaking a little bit, so I also had those repacked at the same time, and you'll be able to see that on that receipt. Overall, that's pretty much it on this truck. What was done to it was just a full repaint, quality repaint with everything disassembled and put back together. And pretty much a mechanical maintenance that you want to see in a low mileage vehicle, because that means that you're not gonna have to deal with it. A lot of the times a low mileage vehicle will have a bunch of maintenance that needs to be done to it, because it's been sitting, because it hasn't been driven as much. And these things are happy when you turn them on, drive them. That's when they're happiest. And even if you're not gonna drive them, if you want to keep mileage low, they're happier when you at least turn them on and go around the block. That's what should be done to these trucks. So a lot of those issues that you see with low mileage trucks have been addressed, and that was the most important thing. And that's pretty much it. It was a full paint job, windows out, and just mechanical preventive stuff that would pretty much keep this truck without needing anything for years to come. That's kind of the thought process behind everything that was done to this truck. And it's absolutely clean. The truck kind of speaks for itself. And pretty much selling because I need to make room for some stuff that I have from Texas that I need to ship to Oregon. We moved here this year, and with everything going on, traveling has become difficult. So I really need to just consolidate everything to one place. So unfortunately, I'm having to let go of a few things. But I know for sure that this truck is going to make a collector very, very happy, because you don't see them like that. You don't find them like that. I have been looking. I'm always looking for that specific Land Cruiser. That's the one that I really need to focus on. And I found really good examples. But this one here is kind of different from all the others in the sense that the mileage was so low and it was so well preserved, and it really, aside from making that paint back to what better than the factory actually, aside from that, nothing else was done. Nothing else was needed. So just paint job, mechanical, and just a fantastic truck. I'm not saying that the work wasn't a lot of work, because it actually was. But what I'm saying here is that it wasn't molested and it wasn't modified. That's what I'm trying to say. So I know it'll make someone very happy, and good luck with the bidding and with the auction, and I hope it goes to a good home. Thank you for watching.